Hey guys, what's up? It's Charlie here, and today we're going to be looking at 10 cases of instant karma in sports. We all love watching sports and good sportsmanship, but there are some players who take things way too far and show bad sportsmanship. But luckily, there have been some amazing cases of instant karma where these bad sportsmen have been punished. Get ready to be surprised and laugh out loud at these moments of instant karma. Before we get into it, be sure to subscribe to Little Things for more amazing content every single day. Also subscribe to Top 10s and hit the bell and comment down when you've done this for a shout out at the end of our next video. Coming in at number 10, we have Celebration Fail. This is a basketball fail, which will really make you laugh. The team in white scores a hoop, and they all celebrate. Even their manager quickly runs onto the court for a celebratory hug. But this massively backfires, as the game picks up again while the white team are still celebrating. Just look at the white team's manager's face as he realizes what's about to happen. You guessed it, the black team got the ball and scored themselves while the white team was still celebrating. This is a big fail for the white team, as their celebrations made them lose. Their manager looks super mad, and I can see why. He could be seen screaming, "Pay attention," to his team. The black team had an even bigger celebration with all the team's behind the scenes staff running onto the court. But unlike the white team, someone from the black team kept an eye on the ball during the celebrations. This is a funny clip, but you have to feel sorry for that manager. Next up is dancing. Dancing is something many players do while celebrating or showing off in sports. But one sport you don't often see dancing in is the MMA, especially when the match isn't over yet. This happened in one battle where an MMA fighter gets too big for his boots. He begins dancing because his opponent misses him. This is of course disrespectful, and nobody likes a show off, especially if they haven't even won yet. But suffice to say, he was punished for his big-headedness. He was quickly rushed by the other competitor. This resulted in the referee having to jump in and break it up. The dancing MMA competitor lost, and many were glad. His cocky dance moves show that no matter how good you think you are, you can never get too confident. Wow, it sure is a good thing there's no other MMA stars who love showing off. Next up is eye on the ball. Volleyball is a sport which requires a lot of focus, but during celebrations, things can go awry. Nobody knows this better than the red team in this game. They hit one tricky ball to the white team. They hit it near the side, and about 4 people from the white team touched it. Thanks to all these factors, the red team assumed they'd won the point, as it would be hard for the white team to recover. But no, the white team managed to save the ball and hit it over the net. This came as a shock to the celebrating red team, as they were caught totally off guard. I can only imagine the crowd's reaction to their favorite team losing a point thanks to celebrating too early. This is an example of a team not remembering the most common rule in many sports. Keep your eye on the ball and the trophy will come. It doesn't explicitly mention anything about celebrating too early, but we can all take a hint. Next up is goal! We've seen spectacular goals in football or soccer before. Spectacular! This is a spectacular goal in a sense, but not in the traditional way. A player kicks the ball and it goes very near to the goal, but the goalkeeper standing in the way blocks it. It was a good block, and the goalie began celebrating. He smiled at the cheering crowd and gave himself a pat on the back. But one thing the goalie forgot about is a little thing called physics. The ball rolled back from where it landed right into the goal. It's ironic the goalkeeper could stop a high-speed ball being kicked at him, but not a ball rolling back in the wind. He must have been devastated once he found out what happened. Just imagine his disappointment. In fact, the goalkeeper didn't even see what happened and was totally confused when the other crowd began cheering. Not to mention the player who just kicked the ball. I guess even top goalkeepers need to keep their eye on the ball. Next up, we have run, run, run. In running, every second counts, and runners do some crazy things to make them count. They position all of their body parts in the right places to reduce air resistance, and they sometimes shave their body hair so they weigh less. Well, not this runner. He wasn't hairy or anything, but he did break his position when he thought he was going to win. He began waving his arms around in victory before he'd even crossed the finishing line. The guy behind him took advantage of this and overtook him, winning the race. Maybe Usain Bolt could get away with a cool victory pose, but this runner is not Bolt, and unfortunately missed out on first place. This is yet another example of why you should never celebrate too early, unless you're Usain Bolt, because those photos are pretty hilarious. Next up is coffee break. Smack talking is big in many sports, but the sport it's most prevalent in has to be the MMA. And who is the biggest smack talker of them all? Well, as he proved with Floyd Mayweather recently, it has to be Conor McGregor. When he was in a conference before a battle between him and Nate Diaz, McGregor was holding no boundaries. He began yelling at Diaz to go on a coffee break and get him a coffee, treating Diaz like his own assistant rather than a fellow MMA star. The smack talking was so brutal, even the interviewer was laughing. But in the ring, McGregor's tone changed. he was knocked down in a matter of seconds and Diaz totally wailed on him. Diaz won the battle and the entire crowd cheered about his win. This is one of McGregor's few losses, but some say it was deserved. Do you think smack talking is okay, or did McGregor go over the line? Next up is Game Karma. One sport that can get very dramatic is esports. In a Guilty Gear Championship match in 2015, two top players went face to face. One of the players won a round, but instead of just moving on, he jumped out of his seat and started screaming as he thought he'd won the entire thing. But as he was celebrating, the next round was up. He didn't realize, and in the time the next round was up, his opponent was already playing when he wasn't. This means he was easily beaten by the guy he only just beat. He was super upset afterwards because he thought he'd won, but instead of this, he lost and was put to shame for celebrating way too early. He was beaten by his opponent in a matter of seconds. This was very embarrassing and bad not only for the player but his entire esports clan. This proves that instant karma can be in esports just as it can be in regular sports. Next up is poker drama. Poker is one of those games which can get pretty heated, and with tens of millions of dollars at stake, who wouldn't get a little itchy? In one poker game that happened in Ireland, the entire table was misbehaving. After a while, it came down to the final two. One person who was really misbehaving was named Andreas from Germany and made some bad remarks to a well-respected Irish player. He then took a crazy amount of time to decide what to do, despite having a great hand and his opponent being stuck. There was almost no way his opponent he was being rude to named Donica could win. The only way that Donica could win his money back would be if a 6 was drawn, and the commentator even said if there was any justice in the world, a 6 would be drawn. Well, the world delivered, and the dealer pulled out a 6 of hearts. Even Andreas couldn't help but crack a smile as he knew he deserved it, and this win increased Donica's net worth by about $4 million. Remember everyone, play fair. Next up, we have cocky basketball player. This is yet another example of somebody celebrating a victory a bit prematurely, and when they fail, it backfires massively and makes them look kind of dumb. Nick Young of the LA Lakers was playing a game of basketball when he did what every player wants to do, score a 3-point shot. He threw it well and it hit the hoop and even part of the net. At that point, he span around and cried for victory, holding his arms in the air, but his celebration was cut short when he turned around and realized he'd missed the basket. The opposition crowd let out a big sigh of relief, while the Lakers fans in the audience moaned as they missed out on 3 points. Young was clearly disappointed, but luckily he didn't take it to heart and got back into the game. Even so, this makes for one funny gif. Next up is not so fast. You should never celebrate anything until you're 100% sure you've won. This runner clearly didn't get that message. She threw her arms up and began celebrating what she thought would be a guaranteed win. But ironically, this celebration pose made her slow down in the last few crucial seconds of the race. While she was celebrating, the girl in red overtook her and won the race. She then did the same pose the girl in blue did, only after she'd won, not before. This is an example of people getting too cocky before they've actually won, and it's so unfortunate that her celebration made her lose the race. She did still come in second place, but that's just not as good as first. Even the guy holding the finishing tape looked stunned as the girl in red beat the girl in blue. This is too bad, but I can't help but laugh a little. Check out the poll in the top right corner and you can vote for the best instant karma moment. I think it has to be the basketball celebration because that is so ironic to lose a game of basketball thanks to a celebration. This video shoutout goes to Fallen Angel 139. Subscribe and turn on notifications and comment done for a shoutout in the next video. I try and reply to every single snap I get, so definitely be sure to send me a snap of you watching a video for a shoutout. But as always, thanks for watching. Check out some more videos on screen right now. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and if you haven't already, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to Top 10s.